Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the game's players and the big stories shaping sports right now.
Love having you all be a part of it too. Don't you forget that. Please drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows like today. Please hit like, subscribe, and join our conversation every week for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you listen. And what's going on, Joseph?
I'm on the road. I'm
On
in
the road
beautiful
again.
northern Alabama, in Coleman, Alabama, on the road. Because we're such a professional outfit, I normally would bring all of our recording studio stuff, but I didn't. So we're dealing with, TV, lamps, and all of that. So I apologize in advance for any poor lighting or reflections. But hey, the show must go on.
Yes, sir. The show must go on, and you're in Northern Alabama, so you can't say LA, you have to say NA. Like the alcoholic beverages you drank at your Super Bowl party, right?
Of course, of
Non-alcoholic
course.
Northern Alabama.
Yes,
Okay.
Diet Cokes are naturally non-alcoholic, of course. Hey, was today? We talk about special days of the year. Was today a special day?
How special is it? You know
What
how
was it?
special it is.
What is it?
Baseball. Pitchers
Oh,
and catchers
pitchers and catchers
reporting
report.
today.
For all of you fans out there who love baseball or even like it, or if you're just cold and tired of winter, there's hope. Because pitchers and catchers reported today, the boys of summer, spring, are now on the field, at least some of them. And so that means baseball's on its way, and so is warmer weather. That's why we love it.
Absolutely love it. And it's only 10 days before the spring training games start. That starts all on February 20th.
Yes.
And I got a great clip from my cousin. I have to credit Danny Dimmu TV. He sent a funny clip. It said, "The Super Bowl is over. The Seattle Seahawks have won, making it officially baseball season."
Excellent.
And with that, the Colorado Rockies have been eliminated from the 2026 baseball
Ooh.
postseason.
Oh, that
Oh,
that that's hard. That's rough. We all know there's about 20 other teams that could have been fit into that exact statement. My beloved Oakland A's probably could be in there, but hey, that's okay. We are going to talk. We're here to talk Super Bowl. There is no question. But as we all know, we love all sports. And while Super Bowl steals the stage this week, there's other things going on that are worth noting. And we will just note them because we want to get to the Super Bowl. I'm sure everyone's got tons of things, comments galore they want to make as well. But let's
yes.
these are more than honorable mention. First of all, Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah.
If you like rivalries and you like sports, whether you love basketball or not, and most people like it or love it, man, that game, as Jay Billis always says, that game delivers no matter what their records and all that. Well, this so happened to be a top 20 matchup, top 10 almost matchup. And let me tell you, it delivered again. It was every bit. Duke dominated the entire game until the last 2 minutes. And what happened? How did Carolina pull it out?
Seth Trimble decided with zero point 0.4 seconds left, zero point 0.4, to hit a tray from the corner. It was
I love it.
awesome.
They were down all game. They came back. Great defense at the very end. Shire, the coach at Duke, complained that North Carolina had one foul. I've never coached a game in my life where a team only had one foul called on them all half. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little biased. I like North Carolina, but anyways, the defense was great. The drive to the hoop at the very end to win it, no, pass out to the corner, and of course it was all net. I love when the net puffs up and goes like that. But man, the court storming twice because there was zero point 0.4 seconds left. They had to get everybody off the court and do it again for whatever. What do they call that? Like just the necessary thing to throw it in. John Shire claims that one of his assistant coaches was punched in the face. If that happened, that's unacceptable, no matter who. Haven't seen any video evidence of that yet, but wow, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many cell phones were in there. I don't know, 26,000, but no picture yet. But that's okay. If there is a picture, and Any Duke fan listening, it's unacceptable. Well, just like the full water bottles that were thrown at Carolina players at Duke last year. But anyways, another thing in basketball that has to be mentioned is Arizona is no longer undefeated. Arizona went down last night 78-82 against their new hated rivals, Kansas. Another great game. That was awesome. And then, not to be outdone, we also had the little ball going on. One of growing fans' favorite tournaments, the Phoenix Open, Waste Management Phoenix Open, because it is now getting known for being just this wild, crazy, just unbelievable party like event. It's almost too crazy for a lot of golfers. Hole 16, the famous par three that's now a stadium. Just everything being thrown, including bad language and all of that. Wow, what a tournament to watch, man! I can't even imagine playing that tournament.
There's a proposal for next year. They're going to change the name, just add one letter, the letter D. It's going to be known as the Wasted Management Open
Ah, I like it.
because a lot of
Well,
the fans were acting like they were wasted.
man, I tell you what, because and listen, I'm all for. I don't think everyone, I waffle back and forth on, being totally quiet when someone's hitting the ball. Hey, what if baseball players got to hit something going 95 and everybody's yelling in their backswing? But I get it, traditionalists. But no, it's not fair when Hideki's trying to hit the ball and somebody's yelling, right in his backswing. This Jack Doherty, these, influencers and streamers now because hey, look at me, I'm a jerk, betting somebody $100 to yell in the backswing of a golfer, and Mackenzie Hughes, Canadian golfer, he handled it well, saying, hey, it is what it is. It is a little crazy. That's unacceptable. Almost everyone, anybody who golfs, of course, thinks the guy's a complete moron. But that tournament's got to clean it up a little bit, but somehow try to keep the rowdiness. And then lastly, before we get to the really good, juicy stuff, Super Bowl stuff, Lindsey Vonn, it's got to be recognized. She gave it a go. It does kind of prove again that practice is not like the real game, whether it's in football or other sports. You can test things out all you want, but when you get into the real heat of the moment, I just don't think her knee really held out on that very first push. She did clip the gate, which might have spun her around a little bit as well, but broken leg. She's an American icon, and hats go off, to Lindsey for giving it a shot.
Can't agree more, Joe. She tried a lot of
Yeah,
courage, a
yeah,
ridiculous amount of courage, and many said that's ridiculous that she even tried. I
yeah,
get it, and she
yeah,
she tried. She saw that. Didn't you tell me a couple shows ago, that the other two top competitors were out with injury? So she saw a clear path to where she really could have pulled that off if she'd have kept her knee intact enough, but I, you know, I love the fact that she tried. And her father, I read this today. Her father said, I hope she's done with skiing. He
yeah.
cares about her. Everybody cares about her.
Well, her orthopedic surgeon doesn't. But hey,
Oh,
but anyways,
good
hey, let
point.
me tell you. But the Americans still represented. Breezy Johnson, one of the best names in the business. I think she should now be called, Wendy Johnson because of how fast she was going. But she's a little out of control, kind of. I obviously don't know the downhill skiing techniques, but she just looked like she is going for it, no matter what. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, but hauling butt down that hill. So congratulations to the U.S. for capturing the gold, anyways. And I hope we don't see Lindsay anymore. Not because we don't love, and all that, but I think listen, what these athletes do to their body in every sport. Tiger with golf, the football players who can't even really walk anymore. It just goes to show you their passion and all that. But at some point, hey, look, we'll remember you forever for what you did for the country.
Agreed. Couldn't put
All
it
right.
better.
Let's get to it, man. We've got to talk about this game. I'm going to start off by saying something very simple. Listen, I get the Super Bowl. It's the whole event around it. It's not just about the game. I know all of that. I watched this game. I was, pretty tame before the game, so I was watching it with a fairly straight, straight mind, if you will, and all that, with just a few Diet Cokes. This game was boring as hell. It was hard. It was hard to watch for a while. If you're just wanting to see a good game.
I can't agree more with you. I keep thinking of the S words like Seattle, the Seahawks, Superman they were Superman, they were supreme, they were superior. Give me some more S words. They
Uh,
they
Super Bowl record,
yeah,
5 field goals. You know,
yeah,
that's just adds to the board. Listen, I want to be very clear about this. Well, Joe, if you thought that was boring, then you probably don't like 1-0 baseball games, or you're not a traditionalist, or you don't
wrong.
appreciate a defensive battle. That wasn't a defensive battle. That was offensive struggles. I mean, yeah, Seahawks defense is unbelievable. But man, just as a fan watching football, if you came from another planet or another country and didn't know what football even was, and that was the game I showed you to become a lifelong fan, I would fail.
The the player for the defense, Ernest Jones, 10 tackles, 1 assist. It was almost like he was a wrecking ball in that
What,
game.
who wasn't? Witherspoon. Did you see the hits Bryant was putting on people? I mean, let me tell you something. Bryant just freaking, tight end misses a catch, gets blown up by Bryant. Drake May turns around, gets blown up by Bryant. I mean, anybody on Seattle's defense could have won MVP.
And how many times did we hear during the broadcast, which I thought was an excellent broadcast with, Mike and Chris on NBC? How many times did we hear them say that those are two rookies on the left side of the New England Patriots offensive line? Boy, they got eaten alive.
So, you know what? It was really hard to watch after a while. Once I realized that Campbell, I didn't really think about this, but rookie from LSU, fourth pick in the draft. Once I realized, oh, shoot, that's the rookie from LSU, I kind of started watching a little bit more. Vrabel has given him 100% vote of confidence. He's our left tackle moving forward. And of course, he should be. I mean, the guy is obviously incredibly talented, but he was not ready for that game. I don't mean mentally, I mean skill level. He was 14 quarterback pressures he gave up. I mean 14. And that was rough. They were even trying to put running backs to help him out. It was rough.
The offensive line was definitely not ready for the dark side, that's for sure. Pats were 2 for 10 on third downs. That's when they still had the ball when it was third down. 40% of the Patriots offensive plays, I couldn't believe this, were for 0 or negative yards. That's almost half their plays, 40%, 0 or
Wow.
negative yards. The
Yeah.
dark side dominated.
They did dominate. Now, you can't take anything away from Seattle. For all you Seattle Seahawks fans out there, you deserve 100% of the credit for making life miserable for Drake May and company. However, there was no adjustments. There was no attempt on anybody's part, in my view, and I'm not an expert, to try to figure something out. If I told you Drake May threw for 295 yards in the game, you would say, well, that's a pretty good game. If I told you 235 of those yards, 235, came in the fourth quarter, what does that tell you about the first 3 quarters? I mean, it was brutal. Man, it was tough. I mean, that was just Drake May. I don't know how much responsibility he has for it. I think his shoulder was hurting him a little bit. I really do think there was a shoulder issue
Yeah.
because I've seen him throw a lot this year, and some of those passes where he did have time were just not on the money. They either lacked velocity or they lacked timing or both. And I think a little bit of he won't admit it maybe, but his shoulder was got to be bothering.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I read that too, and I think May was suffering the shoulder. I'm glad that you brought up the Patriots scoreless through the first 3 quarters.
Oh,
Right, that's the first time that a team has gone scoreless in the first 3 quarters since Super Bowl IX which was in New Orleans. The Minnesota Vikings, the 1974 Minnesota Vikings, were shut out the first 3 quarters against the Steel Curtains, the mighty Pittsburgh Steelers. That's how long it's been for a team to get shut out in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, well, not even long. I think the other two teams that did it were like in Super Bowl 2 and 3. You know what the commonality is? That's back when the defense could do whatever they wanted. That's back when the offense, really had to, really do stuff to score. And, I mean, back in the Jack Tatum and Atkinson and Lester Hayes Stickum days, listen, that was a different era. It hasn't been done in a long time for a lot of reasons. Every rule change that has happened in the NFL since probably that time, every rule change has been in favor of the offense. So that just magnifies how bad that first 3 quarters was.
Sam Darnold, now talking about that factor, how he just made sure he did not turn the ball over.
Well, yeah, he made some good throws too. I mean, I don't want it to, make it sound like what you're saying is absolutely true, but I don't want to make it sound like, every pass was 3 yards. He picked up some really good third downs. He did what he had to do because he's thinking in his mind, I don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah, it was. He made a couple great throws to Cooper Kupp. It was kind of sad. It was sad to see Jackson Smith-Njigba hit his head really hard on the turf. That definitely affected how the offense was trying to click. But the difference was Kenneth Walker the third, right? Joseph the third.
Yeah, I am the third, and you know what? When I saw another third got MVP, I felt like a connection, like I was almost like partially responsible for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were.
yeah,
But
I
the
know.
way he kept bouncing outside, he'd even go into the line and still find a way to bounce outside. Where were the Patriots defenders? I don't know, but I had flashbacks to the Florida State game when Jaden Baugh of the Gators kept doing the same thing. He would rush up towards the line and then he'd just do a bounce outside. And then he, of course, the rest is history. He killed us for over 200 yards in that slaughter in Gainesville. My
It's
poor
called
moles.
it's called vision.
Kept,
And if we're going to
yeah,
change Breezy Johnson's name to Wendy because of her speed,
yeah,
then I'm going to change Kenneth Walker's last name to Kenneth Runner because he
right.
wasn't walking to that line. He was. Hey, listen. Here's the thing about Kenneth Walker. I mean, you know how many yards rushing he had? 135 on
Yeah,
27 carries. I can do my quick math and say that's around 5.5 ish. But he also had 2 catches for 26. So the guy had, 161 yards in total offense. I mean, he was obviously the difference. And you know what? Without, you know, Charbonnet and all that, he deserved it. He was on. Now they could have picked a defensive player too. I'd have been fine with that. But good for him. You know what Kenneth Walker made during that game? A lot of money because he's a free agent.
yeah. And I read something. I'm glad we're still talking about Kenneth Walker because he does deserve the airtime. He had just shy of 80 yards rushing after contact. The guy is built low to the
He's
ground. He's got
he
the
is, man.
strongest lower body
He
strength. I mean,
does.
he's incredible.
No,
But almost
no,
80 of those 135 yards were gained after somebody hit him.
yeah. I'd like to see what his yak was all year because I doubt that was something he just started doing. I mean, the guy is built, like you say, he's powerful, man. And when you've got good vision and you can kind of just offset those head-on collisions and all of that, you're going to get more yaks. And I mean, good for him, man. Listen, he deserves every bit of it. I also wanted to, before we leave Sam Darnold, you remember the reason, probably the real reason he got run out of Minnesota is remember he had a great year, 14 wins, I think. Then
Yeah,
they get to the
14 and
playoffs,
2.
and all of a sudden, he's like Dan Marino at Pittsburgh, Mr. Interception. So they run him out of town. Guess how many interceptions Sam Darnold had in the playoffs? Zero. Zero. So Sam, listen, he didn't deserve the MVP in the Super Bowl because his teammates did, but man, he has he has really elevated himself to being a Super Bowl winning quarterback in a well-deserved way because he played really, really well and led that team.
And he's a class act too.
Yeah,
Immediately just credited his teammates and said,
100%.
there's no place else I'd rather be than right here with the team and the 12s. And the fans, speaking of the 12s, I mean, Seattle's fans are unbelievable. Just
Um, they they are. They absolutely are.
and they showed up in force too, and that was it was a great Super Bowl. And there was something else too about the dark side. Back to the defense, we're jumping back on, but we're still talking about the Seahawks here. The dark side, six
You can talk
sacks.
about anything. It's a Super Bowl. There's a lot to talk about.
There is. We haven't even talked about what we had to eat and drink yet. 6 sacks, 3 takeaways, and 19 pressures on Drake
Yeah,
May.
yeah.
That's
Like I
what.
said, I mean, the left tackle alone gave up 14. Not taking anything away from Seattle's edge, but like I said, they deserve 100% of the credit. But mathematically, there's about 5% or 10% of the credit that's got to go to New England and their inability to protect the quarterback, their inability to run the ball. Seattle had a lot to do with that, but come on. I mean, do something. Like unbelievable.
Yep. You're not, and I'll shift now to the third phase of the game. We've talked a lot of offense, a lot of defense. The third phase of the game is special teams. You mentioned the kicker, Myers, 5 for 5, Super Bowl record.
Nice.
But Michael Dixon, the punter for the Seattle Seahawks, had 3 inside the 10, as we called it when we were always kids, coffin corner,
Love it.
inside the 10, 3 punts. So New England, not only being inept, they were starting off most of their drives deep in their territory. And because of that, look at the way Mike McDonald coaches that special teams. It's well known that he takes that very seriously. And
Yeah.
it worked.
Well, it did work because with the New England Patriots offense being so, bad,
Hmm.
what did that translate into? Not only are you starting in your own end in the 10-yard line, but where does Seattle get the ball when you go 3 and out again? They had
Right.
short fields. I mean, kudos to the New England defense, man. I mean, getting they were on the field every 5 seconds. When they get off the field, they go right back on the field. And they held up for most of the game. I mean, it was, kudos to them, but you can't stop it. They held them to 5 field goals. That's pretty good. It's unfortunate that Myers' 15 points led all scorers on the New England Patriots. Jason Myers outscored the Patriots with 5 field goals. It's crazy, man. I mean, kudos to the Patriots. Listen, they went from a 4-13 record to a 17-3 record this year, including the playoffs. I mean, good for them. They have a rookie quarterback, young quarterback, and all that. I'll just be honest with you. I don't know if what they did this year is as sustainable as what Seattle did this year, and how sustainable that is. In other words, I can see Seattle. They kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. Young, new coach and all that, but they're not out of nowhere anymore. And I can see Seattle maintaining this kind of level of play because defense travels. Did you know McDonald's the first head coach to actually call the defense, like basically in Super Bowl history? I mean, he called the defense as a head coach. That's not, very common these days. And you know what? I mean, you can plug and play a lot of players into that. So, anyways, I see Seattle sticking around for quite a while under this administration and this, staff.
And Seattle did miss the playoffs last year, but they were hanging around. They were eked out on a tiebreaker. They went 10-7 last year. And Okay, but then they get Darnold to come in, but all the other pieces were pretty much there. And that division that they won, there's 3 teams in that division that could have won that Super Bowl on Sunday. A healthy 49ers team could very well have done it.
True. Yeah.
The Rams, who were eked out by Kenneth Walker, he also gained a lot of yards against the Ram after contact. The Rams and the 49ers, they've had to battle to win that division, which was so difficult. I think that gave them the big advantage once they got into the playoffs and they were victorious through there. That gave them a big advantage in the Super Bowl because it was so tough, really, literally so tough for them to be that great.
That's a very good point because I mean it doesn't hurt you to play really good teams a lot.
Yep.
Some could argue, in college football as well. It seems
Yep.
like a lot of teams that have a cupcake schedule, they kind of struggle a little bit, when they go up against a really good team. You could, plug and play some of the names in there. Um, but listen, the only counter argument would be, well, you get beat up a little bit and all that. Well, I'll take, being tried and tested and, iron sharpens iron and that kind of stuff. So, I think that's a very good point that probably did help them.
Appreciate. And I now on the other side of that spectrum, what wasn't so amazing, what bothered me, there was one play that bothered me during the Super Bowl. It's 29 to, I think it was 29-7 at the time. Stephon Diggs makes a nice catch over the middle. They're driving. He had 3 catches for 37 yards, by the way. He makes a catch for a first down and gets up and he spins the ball, celebrates. I was just laughing. Everybody that was at the Super Bowl party where I was like, "Oh, really? You're celebrating getting a first down?
Yeah.
That's a joke. I can't stand that." So,
it's sad, but you know what? There's an old saying I just made up. Diggs is gonna Diggs.
ah,
I mean, seriously, we've had, you know, several. We've had everybody's got their own personality. We know who some of them have been, over the years, and they're gonna do what they do.
yeah,
Um, I agree. It's not a good look, but hey, whatever. Hey, listen, if you made a list of all the frustrated players in the Super Bowl this year, he's probably near the top because
yeah,
the guy's a great player
he
and
is.
he got the ball. The 3 catches, shoot, they weren't even like really good catches where he had a chance to do anything after the catch and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
But just
I was
sent the
just
ball
remembering
down. They
too.
were in a hurry. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
They were in a hurry, and he's sitting there, he's spinning the ball after first down. He
I
ended
know.
up going over and like trying to
Yeah.
reset the ball, and I was just like, "What a joke! Don't stop,
Yeah.
man! Don't
Oh,
do
no,
it."
enough said. I mean, the guy. It's not a good look when you're. That's like spike. Picture like the game just started, not the Super Bowl, any game. Like
Right?
the game just started. There's a kickoff. The guy runs it back to like the 24-yard line. First play of the game, the quarterback throws a screen pass. The running back gets 4 yards and then grabs the ball and then spikes it. Like hello.
Yeah,
Just it's just why? What do you? I think that's just really frustration for him spinning it. Maybe I don't know. It's weird. Hey, before I forget too, I had a bunch of notes written down about Kenneth Walker. I mean, it's
oh
it's
yeah,
hard it's hard to read them all, but I just did want to mention one too. Um, he had a really good game, but I did not know that his 135 rushing yards were the most in the Super Bowl since Terrell Davis in 1998. Can you believe that in 28 years, 135 rushing yards was the most in the last 28 Super Bowls? That caught me way off guard. I guess I'm thinking Marcus Allen, that's just acceptable that someone has rushed for more than 135. That's really crazy.
that is crazy.
I know.
And that's how you get a Super Bowl MVP because Terrell
Well, that
Davis
is.
got the Super
That
Bowl
is.
MVP for rushing for that.
it's just mind-boggling to me that no running back has rushed for more than 135 in a game in the 27 or 28 Super Bowls. The last 28 Super Bowls. That's crazy, man. By the way, the Patriots, listen, when you have third and long in any high school, college, Pee Wee League, pros, when you have third and long every play, you're not going to win. And that helps Seattle. Again, Seattle gets all the credit. But New England's got to take some of the credit too, because 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 12, you're going to get killed every time, especially when your offensive line is suspect. That just went on all game long in the first three quarters. It was terrible. Jeff Saturday, he had a comment that said something about Seattle's defensive line, and some of their blitzers said that New England's line gave them like a tell, like a hint on what they were going to do. And they asked Jeff Saturday, "Is that true? Do you think? Does that really happen?" And Jeff Saturday laughed and said, "Well, of course it's true. I mean, every lineman has something. The white knuckles in the old days. Oh, that means you're going to run block and all this, or the backing up, or a slight shift on a pass protection play. But when it's third and long, he said, yeah, you know what your tell is? You're going to throw." New England had no chance. New England had no chance, man. It's terrible.
Yep. And to bring a food subject in, Seattle just simply feasted. They feasted on the Patriots from kickoff to confetti. It was the same confetti guy again, right?
Yeah. Cool. 30 years. 30 years. Guy's been doing the same confetti guy for 30 years.
Hey, one thing before we start getting ready to wrap this up. There's another food reference.
Oh, a wrap.
Top Cat on predictions. We had some comments in there about predictions on the game. Top Cat is the victor. He predicted the score to be 31-17. He was the closest. He was within 5 total points. I had the game 29-20. And at the end of the game, I was kind of hoping the Patriots would tack on a garbage time TD because I might have hit the score right on the head.
Yeah,
you didn't pick the score, I don't think, on the last show, but you did say Seattle wins and covers if Sam Darnold, you even said you allowed him one pick. I
said 265, 1 touchdown, Seattle wins. And what I was thinking was if he plays a pretty clean game and all that, I had no idea that New England was going to play that crazy bad of an offense. So, yeah, he didn't need anywhere near that. But I think if he did need it, I think he would have done it. I think he was firing on all cylinders in these playoffs.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Everybody picked Seattle. Fred said 20-10 Seattle, so he was 12 points off. I was 7 points off. But congrats to Top Cat. He was closest in our little contest, getting the comments coming there.
But, no, that's good. And thanks for the comments. I mean, we look at them all. We read them all. If we don't comment back, shame on us. We try, but we do appreciate it for sure. And we'll talk about maybe some of the other things on our next podcast this week. We'll talk about maybe some casual stuff like what'd you have for food and all that kind of stuff, just to kind of recap everything and put a little bow on the Super Bowl as we move into next weekend. And listen, sports keep delivering, man. There's always something to talk about. So we'll move on from there for sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
And last thing. I love Kenneth Walker III's nickname, K9.
Oh, I love it.
Congrats.
I love it. K9. Yeah. Are they referring to like a tooth? K9? Or you mean like the actual animal?
Yeah. K9.
Yeah. Is it spelled K number 9 or like all spelled out?
Probably K9 because he's number 9. They could
KW.
Oh, can't say KW. Can't say KW9.
No.
That sounds like WD-40.
I like it. That's a great nickname. Just like the Dark Side's a great nickname.
And he was a dog.
Seattle's going to have more nicknames. Yeah, if they keep going, man.
Sorry about that. He was a dog in that fight. Not go Patriots. Congrats to the Seahawks.
Yeah. I heard what you did there as a dog. You're going to get it again, man. You keep bringing the Patriots up like that. Your fan base is going to get mad.
Sorry.
All right. Don't apologize to me. Don't hurt my feelings. All right.
Go Seahawks.
Well, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports talk.
And please don't forget, your comments are a part of the show. We love them. Drop them below. We'll read them, feature them in future episodes. Be sure to like, subscribe, and catch us every week for free on YouTube or Spotify if you're traveling, TikTok and Instagram, or wherever you listen. And thanks for joining us. All right, Joseph III.
Talk to you soon. I think I think we're gonna have to do like a Valentine edition.
That sounds good. Real
I like
sweet idea.
I like it. That's right. All right. Take care, buddy. See you, man.
Take care.